Heart of Azeroth. Now, many of us had been wondering what would happen to our artifacts and how Blizzard Entertainment would allow us to move forward and to progress with such a gaping hole from the heavy loss of the stats that we got from those artifacts. Now, the answer is finally here, and of course, it comes in the form of another artifact. Now, this artifact we are given at the very start. You don't have to go out and perform a lot of quests or whatever. It's not one that you have to earn like you did the previous artifacts. Now, let's go ahead and take a look. But before we do, remember, if this is your first time here, be sure to go ahead and click on the subscribe button so you don't miss anything. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump right into things. At the end of Legion, we'll be seeing Sargeras stab Azeroth, as we already know. And Magni Bronzebeard, knowing how bad and how dire things are with Azeroth, calls upon the factions, both factions, Horde and Alliance, for aid. And he's ignored. Nobody wants to help. Now, at this time, he turns to the greatest heroes that the world has ever known. And of course, that is us, the players of the game. Now, he knows that he can trust us to do whatever it takes to not only defend Azeroth, but to help heal her as well. Now, we have a clip here from BlizzCon in which Blizzard had this to say about the Heart of Azeroth. Let's watch.
There's a lot we like with artifacts, and I hope you guys liked it too. Like, we liked the choices. I think Russ talked about in the panel yesterday. The choices that you got to make early on were really cool, and we felt like that was a decision that we wanted you to make more and more of. And that's, coming from that, the Azerite armor, each piece giving you a little bit of progression, and getting a new piece giving you some more progression, and again, more choices to make. For artifact power. I almost called it Azerite power. Shouldn't do that.
Same acronym.
It is. It's AP. I think the biggest takeaway was I'm not sure I like getting trillions of artifact power, and so that's one of the things that we're looking at ways to solve.
I think one of the big differences with artifacts, there's no question that having tons of items in your bag, it's pretty clunky. It's an unwieldy experience. We needed to do that with artifacts because there was a different artifact weapon for each spec that was a core part of the fantasy of what these weapons were, and we didn't want somebody who was primarily a Fury Warrior, but their friends needed a tank, saying, well, sorry, I don't really want to do that as prot because I want the artifact power for my Fury weapon, so we wanted you to be able to get it as an item, choose where to put it. With the amulet, there's only one for all your specs, and so we don't need the items, which means it can go right into your amulet right away. And when we don't have items anymore, it means we also don't need a way of, implementing knowledge in a way that makes the rewards constantly scale up more and more and more. Instead, imagine a version of knowledge that simply slightly reduces the amount of Azerite you need to infuse into your amulet to get the next level, where a raid boss might always give you 200 Azerite as a consistent value throughout the entire expansion, so you can easily compare the numbers, understand how rewarding something is, and you're not dealing with billions, let alone trillions.
Excellent. Thank you. So we'll be sticking with specific armor that the Azerite will be going in, correct?
So the Azerite doesn't go in the armor. The Azerite is actually leveling up your amulet. Okay. And so the level of the medallion is what will determine how many powers on your armor you can access.
Okay.
But you're not making a permanent investment in your shoulders. Like, if you have a pair of shoulders with 2 tiers unlocked and you get a different pair that has better traits, that will also automatically have those 2 tiers unlocked if they're comparable in item level. And so your progression is permanent, and it's more about the choices you're making as you get the gear.
That is awesome.
Now, we're given the Heart of Azeroth artifact, which is our new progression system. And instead of having to have artifact power, as you may know, it's now called instead Azerite. So, which Azerite is more or less the blood of Azeroth herself, which is seeping through the ground. And we'll find Azerite in many places. Now, here is a picture of one of the nodes of Azerite. And as your Heart of Azeroth gets near Azeroth, it'll start to power up. And as it powers up and reaches new levels, it's going to more or less enable you to empower your gear. Not all gear. Currently, Blizzard has said the items that we are able to empower would be the helm, shoulders, and chest. As your artifact powers up, you can choose to empower your items. Now, the first ring of the tree, and here's a picture of what we're looking at here. The first ring of this, it seems to be very easily accessible, but each ring will become more and more harder to access. So as we go forward, it's going to take a lot of work. The cool thing here is that if you've empowered a specific item, for example, let's say your chest item, and you've unlocked 2 traits, 2 rings, if you go to a dungeon or a raid or out in the world and find a stronger chest piece, don't worry. Go ahead and upgrade your item, because the 2 traits will be waiting on your item when it's equipped. So you wouldn't have to go out and unlock them or start over. So it's not tied to the item, but to the Heart of Azeroth. So far, I don't know about you, but so far I'm personally loving this. And I think what we're seeing here has a lot of potential. But what do you think? Are you looking forward to the Heart of Azeroth as much as I am? Or do you have no interest in it at all? Let me know in the comment section down below. Now, also, for those who are interested, I know many of us are enthusiasts of classic WoW. I will be starting a new series as soon as possible, and that series is going to take a look back at the vanilla WoW. What can we expect? What has changed since vanilla WoW to current? So, go ahead, be sure to give a thumbs up, and we'll see you next time. For now, you have a great day.